So have you ever wondered what really goes into organizing a global protest? It's way more than just, picking a date and a place. It's all about crafting a message that's powerful enough to get thousands of people all across the world on the same page. Today, we're going to break one of these calls to action down piece by piece.
Okay, so this is the image you might see on social media. It's the public face of what's being called a global day of action. But behind this one graphic, there's a whole detailed strategy document. We're going to pull back the curtain and take a look at the actual blueprint for this protest. Everything from its core message to its very, very specific demands. First up, let's get the basics down. The plan is for coordinated demonstrations on Saturday, February 14th, 2026. And they're targeting 3 major international cities: Toronto, Los Angeles, and Munich. Get this, they're all synchronized to kick off at 1 in the afternoon, local time.
So, what's the big picture message here? Well, this call isn't just for another protest. No, it's being framed as something much, much bigger.
I mean, listen to the language they're using here. It is incredibly ambitious. The source document doesn't just ask for a protest, it's trying to rally the entire world for what it calls the national revolution of Iran. The goal is stated pretty clearly: to force global powers to take some kind of decisive action.
Now, every movement needs a spark, right? A powerful reason to get people to actually show up. So what's the catalyst here? What's the core justification for this massive global event?
And this is where the strategy gets really fascinating, and frankly, pretty unusual. The organizers frame this whole protest as a response to a scenario that it predicts will happen in the future. Think about that. By creating a narrative around a future tragedy, they're essentially trying to seize control of the story before it even unfolds. It's so important to understand that this is the justification that's presented inside the call to action itself. Specifically, the blueprint asks people to gather in response to what it calls a horrific massacre that it claims will take place on January 8th and 9th, 2026. It's a preemptive call to action, all built around a future event that's described right there in the text.
And then, to really drive the point home, the document attaches an absolutely shocking number to the scenario: over 36,000 people killed. This figure, this number, is the emotional core of the entire call to action. It's engineered to create this undeniable sense of urgency for a massive global response.
But hey, this isn't just about emotion or pulling on heartstrings. The call to action is built on a very clear set of political objectives. We're talking 6 core demands that lay out a concrete plan for change.
So the source lists these 6 clear and non-negotiable demands. And these go way beyond just a simple protest. They're talking about dismantling security forces, cutting off money through sanctions, getting free internet for people in Iran, kicking out diplomats, freeing all political prisoners, and the big one, getting international recognition for a transitional government. Let's be real. This is essentially a roadmap for regime change. Okay, a global movement needs global allies. That's a given. So the next part of this strategy is all about targeted outreach, with messages that are specifically tailored to different communities. First, there's a direct appeal to Ukrainians. And this message frames the conflict in Iran as being directly linked to the war in Ukraine, pointing out the use of the same military drones. It's a really powerful attempt to build a coalition based on the idea of a shared enemy. Next, there's a message for Jewish communities. And here, the argument pivots to regional stability. It positions a free Iran as the absolute key to achieving peace in the Middle East and calls for unity against a common threat. And finally, the appeal broadens out to the general public in Toronto, LA, and Munich. This message leans heavily on universal values like freedom and security, arguing that a free Iran is good for global peace, and that just their physical presence will send a powerful message. All right, so the catalyst is set, the demands are listed, and the allies have been called upon. What's the ultimate goal? What does the source actually envision this day will achieve? The entire event is basically designed to be this huge display of international unity. The strategic goal here isn't just to protest, it's to create a spectacle so big, so significant, that it forces governments around the world to take tangible, decisive action against the Iranian government. And this line just perfectly illustrates the core emotional message of the whole campaign. It ends with a simple, hopeful, and really powerful statement about collective strength. The idea is that unity itself is what will lead to victory.
So, when we pull it all apart, what we see is a really fascinating piece of political engineering. It's a strategy that blends a predicted emotional catalyst with very concrete political demands and some highly tailored outreach. It really makes you think, doesn't it? In our age of instant global communication, what does this tell us about how modern movements are designed? And what could this mean for the future of international activism?